Hey, welcome to practice. Today we're going to work through some different eagle variations. I'm Kristen, for those of you that don't know me. For those of you that do, eagle is one of my favorite poses, Garudasana. It's really good for blood pressure, thyroid issues, balancing our hormones, and pushing the blood. So I call it the tumeric for the blood, right? So if you don't like turmeric, practicing eagle pose is a good way just to clear the blood, and obviously by putting a little bit of intention around the breath, we will be able to oxygenate the blood a little bit more. So we're going to start actually lying on our back, and just find yourself in Shavasana for a moment, and we'll interlace our fingers and put this over our Manipura or our navel center, core center, just to kind of track our breath for the first minute or so. So come lying comfortably on your mat space. You can have a little bit of space in between your feet or not, just at this time. And interlace those fingers and placing them on the belly. And then notice that your head, neck, shoulders, back, glutes, legs, especially your knees, ankles, feet are all relaxed to the mat space. And then the palms are going to track your breathing. So as you inhale, notice that you draw the inhale all the way down to your navel center, even further. It rises the palms up. As you exhale, notice that the belly floats down and more in towards the spine. You can engage the core muscles at the end of the exhale as you gently hold it out. Inhale, filling your palms. You're still relaxed even though you're engaging in your inhale. And then exhale, letting the breath go down and out all the way to the end. Maybe some core engagement at the very end. So a few more rounds of breath. Inhale to your exhale. Noticing how active your mind is, right? One of the purposes of yoga is to calm the waves of the mind. Yoga, chitta, vritti, nirodha. And first, stretchy movement here. Legs together, toes pointed, arms up and overhead. Fingers are still interlaced, right? So sometimes as we take deeper breathing, we also create yawns, right? Just because the body, the lungs are starting to take in more oxygen. As we yawn, it just also sometimes means that we've been a little bit depleted of oxygen in our internal body. So that's another good purpose of yoga, is to just bring more oxygen to the lungs, heart, blood, and get everything pumping. So take a deep inhale, nice and long on the floor, fingers to toes. Then as you exhale, draw the right knee in, nose to your knee. Really notice that the lumbar spine behind the belly is connected to your mat space. Yoga meaning connection. Exhale, lower the side down. As you inhale, lift it up, draw your nose to your knee, hold for a moment. Exhale, lower back down towards your mat space. Keep rounding side to side, right knee in, nose to knee, core towards the spine. Lumbar spine really grounded to the floor, starting to wake up the core. Also the knees, the hips. The more you pull in the shin with the arms, also activating the muscles of your arms. So in a way, any movement we come to, depending on how we go into it, right, can really work all parts of the body. So if you have intention, even though this might be a simple floor movement to you, of really engaging all the muscles of the body, you'll really squeeze all the juice out of your practice. So right knee in, exhale, lower down. Left knee comes in, draw it in, exhale, lower down. So if you're ever feeling a little bit off digestive wise, this is one of the poses you can do to kind of push out any negativity you might be feeling through the core, through the belly with your digestion. So let's bring both knees in just for a moment, and then draw your arms around your shins. And in this moment, instead of getting a tight grip maybe to your elbows, you're more concerned with a long cervical spine and trying to feel all 26 vertebrae on the floor, even the tailbone. As you're here, just gently work through the cervical spine. Take the left ear to your mat space as you exhale. Inhale through center. Exhale, right ear to your mat space. One more time to the left. And then one more time to the right. And exhale, soles of the feet into the mat space, and knees are bent. This is what I call a bridge prep pose. So if you'd like to, sometimes we slide with this pose, so if you'd like to center a little bit more on your mat space, go ahead and do so now. See if you can walk your heels a little bit closer to your glutes. And then you can have your hands down by your hip sides for the entire time we pulse the hips. Or on your inhale, you can rise the arms up and overhead and then take them back down with your exhale. So inhale, optional arms up and overhead, rise through your hips, hold, activate your thighs, your glutes. As you exhale, lower back down to your mat space. Inhale, rise your hips up, arms maybe overhead, hold. As you exhale, start to lower the glutes and the hands back to the mat space. Inhale, rise your hips. If your knees are going in and out, place a block or a pillow in between your knees and make sure that you keep adducting, hugging inward as you lift and lower your hips. So keep going with a few more rounds of breath. Last one. Inhale, hold, hold, hold. 5, 4, engage your thighs, engage your glutes, lift your hips up more. Exhale, exhale, roll the spine down. Second time, draw your knees to your chest. You want to lift up, get a little bit more of a severe grip. Go right ahead. Make sure you tuck your chin, cervical spine is straight, and then you're trying to feel even the tailbone connected to your mat space. So try not to cross your ankles, calves, shins, ankles, feet, side by side. And then one more thing, because we're here, lengthen the legs straight over your hips. You can have your palms down by your hips, or you can lift up and place your hands underneath you. So just in case we stand all day, right, we're just working out the feet before we come to all of our standing series. So inhale, point the toes. Exhale, flex the feet. Just a few rounds. As you point the toes, really feel your shins. As you flex the feet and exhale, really feel your calves. and knees into chest. Really hug your thighs nice and close. At this time, please cross your ankles. So feel a relaxation through your hips and through your shoulders. We're going to come back on our back body for our eagle sit-ups here in a moment, but just warming up the back body with spinal flexion. Before we get there, just a little bit more intention of stretching out back body. So thinking about crossing the ankles, kicking the legs up, and rolling forward and back on the spine 3 to 5 times. A little bit of play or lila here as you roll forward and back. Remember, this is good for the synovial fluid of the spine and also that nice compression, what I call sacral compression on your back space. So finding a comfortable seat and closing your eyes just for a moment before we move on with the physical asana. So we'll make that yoga is about calming the waves of the mind. So I'll go ahead and sing that mantra that I introduced earlier here. So arms rise up and overhead. And then drawing your thumbs towards your sternum. So activating the sense of hearing just for a moment and just making, once again, intention as I practice yoga. I calm the waves of the mind. Yoga. Chitta. Vritti. Narodaha. Yoga. Chitta. Vritti. Narodaha. Yoga. Chitta. Vritti. Narodaha. One of the main purposes of yoga is to calm the waves of the mind. So let it go, drop it immediately, and coming to your hands and your knees. So you'll probably have a further sit back than me, but we're going to do a little bit different than just a normal cat and cow pose. So with your exhale breath, lower the belly down into cow pose, Inhale, angry cat, exhale, hips to your heels. Keep that round in the spine as you come back forward. Inhale, exhale, lower your belly. Inhale, lift the spine up, exhale, press back towards your heels. Inhale, forward still, spine is rounded. Exhale, spinal flex. Inhale, around the spine. Exhale, hips to your heels. 2 more. Inhale, forward. Exhale, belly lowers. Inhale, rise. Exhale, hips to heels. Last one, inhale. Just kidding, 2 more for good measure. Come back forward, spine lifted. Exhale, lower belly. Make sure you're with your breath, right? Those of us that like Vinyasa yoga, remembering that definition is the movement and the breath together. So now on real time, last one. Lifting the spine up last time. Exhale, lower back to the heels. Inhale, coming forward. So from here, as the best we can, before we come to our eagle sit-ups, we're going to take our left leg on the bottom and our right leg on top. So see if you can stack your knees here and then allow yourself to draw your arms out. And then let's go ahead and take the right arm underneath the left. You can just touch your palms. And gathering a tall spine first, really grounded, especially right sits bone. As you breathe here, long, slow, deep breathing, really try to expand through the shoulders, expand through the ribs, expand the breath, the deep lung space. And unwinding the arms without the legs, peace fingers to your big toes. Exhale, extend, smush the belly to the thighs. Inhale, come back to your long spine. Exhale, exhale, draw stomach towards your inner right thigh as you inhale. Lift up to a straight spine. Exhale, come forward. Inhale, come to lift. Exhale, now bow your way in for a couple of breaths. And inhale, left. All right, so now we're drawing our right leg on the bottom. Try to get your knee kind of right at center, and then your left leg on top. So this one's going to be a little bit harder for me, right? You can keep, that's actually really painful. All right, so allowing yourself to just do the best you can, right, as you're here. Inhale to exhale, and then our arms draw out, left arm underneath, and then just expand the breath through the shoulders. Try to ground your left sits bone. Keep breathing. And I'm just going to take this time to really thank everybody you know who you are that have been really positive about these videos. Just really happy to have them right at this time. So I just want to say a deep, deep thank you, because it has been an interesting journey seeing myself on camera and hearing myself. So very different, but all learning curve, as you hear me say at the studio. Yoga, we don't get sick of it, right? As we practice over and over and over, because we continue to grow. So this one's going to be a little bit harder for me on this side. Grab your peace fingers. Exhale, lower your way down, stomach towards your thighs. Inhale, rise and lift. Exhale, lowering stomach to thighs. Inhale, rise. Exhale, exhale, exhale. Inhale, find a straight spine. Grow tall, puff up the chest towards the chin. Exhale, bow forward and breathe. And unwind, coming to either kneeling or your comfortable seat for a couple, 3 rounds of breath of fire. Also makes me really happy to know that some of you are really getting into this breath of fire. It's really good for the core body. So we use it with Ego Eradicator. So bringing the forefingers to the top of the palms, the thumbs straight out at a 90-degree angle, and then our arms at 60 degrees. Exhale. And then inhale, begin to pump the gut, breath of fire. And deep exhale out. Inhale, touch your thumb tips up and overhead. Release all 8 fingertips towards the sky. Hold it. Exhale, clear. Fingertips down to the floor. Go ahead and take a side bend over to the right. Left hand grounds to the floor. Side bend over to the left. All right, second round, Bhastrika, breath of fire. Fingertips to the tops of the palms, thumbs at a 90-degree angle. Arms at about 60 degrees while the shoulders remain relaxed. Exhale. Inhale, breath of fire. And exhale the breath out. Inhale, touch your thumb tips up and overhead. Release all 8 fingers towards the sky. Exhale, release. Let it go. Fingertips down to the floor. Side bend to your left. Inhale, center. Exhale. Side bend to your right. So in my earlier videos, I was going with 30 rounds. Now I'm going to 60. So those of you that have been doing this with me, we're pushing it another 50%, right? So arms up and fingertips to the tops of the palms and allowing yourself thumbs at 90 degrees, arms at 60 degrees. Exhale all the breath out. Inhale, begin. And let it go. Exhale, inhale, touch your thumb tips, release all 8 fingers, hold it in. Exhale, 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 fingertips to the floor. Side bend to your right. Side bend to your left. Inhale, palms touch up and overhead, hands to your knees. Since we're here, starting Sufi grind, about 7 to 10 rounds each direction. And release the other way. And bring yourself to center. Pause. Yoga, Chitta, Vritti, Nirodha. The purpose of yoga is to calm the waves of the mind. All right, centered on your back, on your mat space. So from here, we'll do those eagle sit-ups. So crossing your right leg over your left, you can try to get your right toes behind your left ankle. And then it's the opposite. So it's our right arm underneath the left. So inhale, elbows to thighs, hold. Exhale, lower down 1. With your own breath, inhale, elbows to thighs. Maybe you take a longer pause. Exhale, lower your way down. Few rounds, elbows to thighs. Exhale, lower your way down. Make sure you're breathing. it up if you would like to. Peace fingers, grab those big toes again. Maybe try to touch your nose to your knee. Pull your arches closer towards your hips. And then exhale, release. Arms uncross, legs uncross. All right, left leg crosses over the right. If you would like to, you can bring those left top of the foot toes behind the back of the right Achilles tendon. And then it's the opposite again, right? So left arm underneath the right and around. Get your twist. Exhale fully and completely. Breath out of the lungs as you inhale, elbows to thighs, hold, pulse. Exhale, lower your way back down. Inhale, rise, lift, elbows to thighs, hold, exhale, 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 lower down. Inhale, rise and lift, elbows to thighs, exhale, exhale, exhale. Inhale, rise, lift, hold, exhale. Few more rounds of your own pace, own breath. Remembering, practice, your pace, your pose, your hold. Hold if you would like to. You can do a couple more, or peace fingers to your big toes. Try to touch your nose to your knee. Draw your arches closer to your hips. Belly back down to your mat space. Exhale. Release. 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 And draw the sole of the right foot to the top of the left thigh. And then just tick-tock your legs back and forth, side to side. So eagle, I don't talk about it much in this way, right? But it actually helps open us up for binding. So if you have any issues with binding, find that as part of your practice that can be a little bit more challenging. There's all those things that I said earlier about eagle, but it also opens up our hips and our shoulders for binding. So left sole of the foot to the top of the right thigh, and gently tick-tock the knees, the legs, side to side. You can be going closer to the floor than I am here, just kind of watching out for my scar. So inhale and exhale, side to side, slower breath. And moods change, tides change. Remember, sometimes we're just going to admire a floor practice. Sometimes we're going to admire a standing practice. So it's always good to integrate both into our daily, weekly lives. So once again, cross the ankles, rock and roll forward and back on the spine, 3 to 5 rounds. You can rock all the way to standing if you wish, or allow yourself just to come to seated and then stand up. So take a moment, pause, right? Thinking about, sometimes we just want to rush through life. Just want to get everything done all at once. Remembering that the pauses and the rests are needed so we don't give up before the race is over. So we'll be joining some poses together, but before we move on with our eagle, let's go ahead and warm up our standing balance with Vrikshasana or tree pose. So right foot, any variation you want, and some of us do the 26 and 2 version. Some of us like to bring our foot to our calf, or our inner thigh. So let's warm up the balance on that left foot. Remember, if you're really balanced, you can take tree into side bending. Or for me, what I like to do is just start breathing, circle the breath up, inhale, exhale, tracing front line of the spine. And remember, if you're starting like me to push that left hip out, really engage the glutes, really draw the tailbone down, lower belly in, right? Exhale, right side comes down. So moving to the other side, so all the balance on your right leg. And then lifting your left leg up into your Vrikshasana tree pose variation. And you can start side bending, you can just hold, or if you would like to activate the circular breath with the arms, inhale, exhale. And then release your left side down, equal standing, samastitihi. So allowing ourselves to come into eagle, legs first, arms last, and then arms first, legs last. So allowing yourself to bend, arms out to the side, right leg comes over left. So hold here, see if you can sit and squeeze the legs a little bit more. And then as you're ready, right arm underneath the left. If you already want to add more, pulse your elbows to your knees. As you lift up, find your baby little cobra back bend. Exhale, elbows to your knees. Inhale, lift and rise. Exhale, elbows to knees. Inhale, rise and lift. Exhale, exhale, elbows to knees. And now let's pause the pose. Fire it up just a little bit. Find your balance. And release. Right leg down, arms up and over. Exhale. Hands through heart center, arms by your sides. Pulse into your chair pose with your knees. So as you're ready, left leg lifts over the right. And see if you can sit and squeeze just a little bit more. Arms draw out from the sides. Exhale, left arm underneath the right. So you can stay here, pause and breathe, which is where I need to stay. If you would like your elbow to thigh knee pulses as you exhale, elbows draw down. Inhale, rise back up. Exhale, pulse elbows towards thighs, knees. Inhale, rise back up. Make sure you find that little back bend. Exhale, lower crunch. Inhale, rise. Last one, exhale. Then as you inhale, find your little bit of a back bend. Sit and squeeze more. Pause. Hold the pose, but not the breath. And then now, release. Uncross the legs, arms rise, up and overhead. Exhale, exhale, exhale. Hands through heart center, shoulders, back and down. And with your next exhale breath, ground through the feet, arms and then legs. Inhale, arms rise up and overhead. Exhale with passion, right arm underneath your left. Exhale, bend through your knees now, and right leg lifts. So from here, you can be in your elbow to knee thigh pulses, or you can activate breath of fire. And exhale, let it go. Inhale, arms rise up and overhead. Exhale. exhale, left arm, underneath the right. So from here, bend through your knees, and then your left leg lifts up over the right and around. So here, begin your elbow to knee pulses, or if you wish, activate breath of fire. And exhale all the breath out, and inhale, arms rise, legs uncross, and then arms come down by your sides. So you're more than welcome to do chaturangas as they're called, or you can always do down dog or child's pose as your modifications for chaturanga. I might not be doing a ton of those today, but if you're in fight or flight mode, feel like you've got a lot of fear going on, remember that chaturanga, especially since it has a cobra up dog back bend, that's a good way you can meet fear and just start to let it go by way of back bending. All right, so inhale, arms rise up and overhead. Exhale, forward bend. Inhale, rise halfway. Exhale, fold, step back, down dog, or float back, chaturanga. And lizard pose, but if you like half pigeon better, I know some of you do, right? So if you'd rather do half pigeon at this time, you're more than welcome. And if you want to come with me to lizard pose, right foot steps outside of that right hand, and then gently turn your right toes out to about 1 or 2 o'clock. You can start to lower your hips down. Remember, if you have a block or a blanket, any prop that can keep you lifted up a little bit, place that underneath your forearms. If you can, please come down to your forearms. Some of us eventually will start to extend more. Third eye to the floor, arms straight out in front of us, and go a little bit deeper. But just allow yourself to hang here just for a moment. Come up to your palms, second stretch in the series. Then modification number 1, right hand to inner right knee. If you would like to, then bend into that left knee. Here, I've got intention, right? So I've lost a little bit of flexibility. Some of us are going to be able to grab the front of the left ankle or the front of the left foot. You can also just stay within your boundaries. We talked about that in another class. And then just kind of lower your hips. Look beyond your right shoulder. Keep the breath moving. And hands come down, walk your right foot in, hands frame the right foot, tuck your left toes, left heel comes down. So walk your way up into your warrior 2 like stance. You can actually go there, but more so we're actually going into humble warrior. So from here, inhale, chest rises, exhale, lower to the floor. I can't do that on this side, but allowing yourself with your arms behind you, if you can, to lower down into humble warrior. Remember in my classes, right, it's always a modification or a preference if you want to keep flowing. Those of us that want a modification can also come down to your forearms here and really just start to ground through your feet. Rise either back up onto your hands or up from humble warrior, maybe through your warrior two, and then cartwheel your hands down either side of your right foot. Step back, three-legged chaturanga or downward facing dog. All right, half pigeon or your lizard pose. So left foot steps outside of your left hand, dropping down onto your back right knee. So if you would like to, and turn your toes out, 11, 10 o'clock here. If that helps you open up the hip, you can also start to roll on the knife's edge, right, if you want to. Sometimes I've gotten that question. You can let your right toe slide a little bit back as you're ready, coming down onto your forearms and breathing into your hip. So just so you know, I'm having a mind run away type of day, right? So instead of my body wanting to deal with what's going on, the pain that I'm feeling, right? We use that word lightly in the sense, or I guess I use it lightly because I don't really mind, right? Because you kind of have to deal with it. As much trauma or pain as you got into something, right? It's going to take you to get out. So just kind of some support, right, on those days where we have a really active brain. Frontal lobes just want to take us out of what we're doing, want to react or just run away. Thinking about yoga asking us for that presence, that awareness, and exactly what the intention was, trying to calm the waves of the mind down. And as I brought that up, one thing that I was not doing was breathing. So that's why you'll actually hear me audibly, especially in classes, with my breath, because the breath is what really started to train my mind. All right, so out of lizard pose, coming up onto your hands, and then left hand to left inner knee. If you would like to, you can bend your right knee and go ahead and grab the top of the right foot, top of the right ankle. This is where I need to stay for this morning, and then find your breath. Maybe you're coming into that deeper right hip opener, shoulder opener. Really good. Finding that breath. And since I'm not seeing you right, I'm less apt to say nice work, but remember, positive self-talk, nice work. You're opening up the hips and possibly the shoulders and the lungs. Keep on keeping on is always a good thing to think about your yoga practice. May not feel great in every single pose, but then we'll have those 1, 2, 3, maybe even a full practice that'll make us feel really empowered. So as you're ready, letting the back foot go if you need to, walking the left foot in, tucking your right toes, and bringing the right heel down. Coming up to warrior 1 or 2, want to open up the heart space, right, for our humble warrior, and then interlace the fingers behind our back. It's really important that the back leg is activated. As you exhale, lower your way down, humble warrior. Inhale, rise back up, shine your heart space. Exhale, lower your way down. Inhale, rise and lift, heart space. Exhale, exhale, exhale. Inhale, inhale, rise. You can either keep flowing or now halts. If it's too much for the hands, bring the hands down to the floor. Activated legs, face gets closer and closer to your hands. All right, rising up and out in any way, in any pose, right? Hands frame the left foot, tuck your right toes, step back down, dog, or three-legged chaturanga, back into your downward facing dog. And love practicing with Devin, right? She always remembers to exhale through the mouth and let those tensions go. That sometimes a build just by way of holding poses. It's often said, right, that the pose begins the minute, the second, the millisecond that you want to come out of it. So as you're ready, look forward, step, jumper, hop in between your hands. Inhale, lift and rise. Palms touch. Exhale, exhale. Hands through heart center. Maybe your arms down by your sides. And if you've had me before, moment of presence. The rests that give us the ability to keep on keeping on. Okay, I think this is my strong side. So we'll go ahead and lift ourselves up into tree pose. If you can get it on the inner thigh, which isn't available to me right now, bring the right sole of the foot to the right inner thigh. And then find your pause, your poise, your presence, your power, right in your Vrikshasana tree pose. Remember, slow blinking, eyes focused on one point. As we start to bat the eyes, that can dangerously change our balance. Some of us don't mind falling and can laugh at it, right? But over time, I've just noticed that people get so mad when they fall. So one way to think about just keeping your place is by keeping an unchanging gaze. Bend into your left knee, right leg moves into eagle pose over the left. Arms draw out, find your eagle arms, right arm underneath the left. So this is our balance challenge. Allowing ourselves, right, instead of hugging shoulders forward, draw them back. And either start elbow to knee, thigh pulses, or breath of fire. And exhale, unwind the right leg into warrior 3 with your eagle arms. Pause for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, rise it up, feet meet. Inhale, arms rise up and overhead. Feel free to separate the feet if you wish. Exhale, forward bend, and Uttanasana, forward fold. Design your own or fingertips to the floor. Exhale, fold. Inhale, long spine. Exhale, fold more. Inhale, long spine. Exhale. Inhale, exhale. More binding work. Separate your feet as wide as your mat. Wrap your arms behind your calves and then sit low. I really miss this position. I used to be able to sit a lot lower, but you can even lift the glutes up a bit. Exhale, pulse them low. Keep that hug. Keep that connection, hugging close to yourself. Unwind the arms, straighten the legs, hands to your hips, rise up. All right, I'll do as much as I can, but definitely cue the other side. Feet come back together. So find Vrikshasana tree pose. If you can, rise that left leg all the way up to the inner right thigh, and then holds. One pointed focus, finding that presence. Eyes in one point, poise, gaining some empowerment here, power, and then bending into your right knee, allowing the left leg to cross over the right. As you're ready, arms draw out, and then we draw our left arm underneath the right and around. So you could be holding, you could be doing elbow to knee pulses, you could be doing breath of fire. I just needed some encouragement through long, slow, deep breathing. For you, you'll take these eagle arms into warrior 3. For me, that's not a possibility right now. So once you're ready, unwind that left leg into your warrior 3 pose. Hold for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Left leg comes down. Stand up. Separate your feet if you wish. Inhale, rise the arms. Exhale, Uttanasana, forward bend. Fingertips to the floor. Exhale, fold. Inhale, long spine lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, long spine lift. Exhale, exhale, fold. Inhale, inhale, rise. Exhale, exhale, fold. Bend through your knees, at least a micro bend. Heels follow the toes. You might turn them slightly out, but not too much. And then allow yourself to hug behind your calves. And then just really activate inner knees to upper arms. How you eventually might move into arm pressure pose, the arm balance as you start to sit lower right. And then eventually you'll lift your legs up and fold back. All right, so unwind as you need to, as necessary, and hands to your hips, rise up through that flat spine, and Tadasana, mountain pose, front of your mat space. Inhale, arms rise up and overhead. Exhale, forward bend. Inhale, rise, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Step back, down dog, float back, optional chaturanga, and find your way to downward facing dog. Option to create an arm balance or find some core strengthening, plank pose, and begin 60 rounds, breath of fire. Exhale your way back to your downward facing dog. Right foot steps forward, in between the hands, back heel comes down, and find your way up into your warrior 2 pose. And unbend that front leg, reach it a little bit forward, and then find Trikonasana or your triangle pose. Find your breath here, right? At any time, you can do long, slow, deep breathing or your breath of fire. And what's great at home is we can have that humbleness around really getting into the breath, using the props that we need to, remembering that nobody else is watching. Sometimes that's really the comfort for us, right? We don't want to show up to a class or to a studio because we don't really have the balls to just let it go in front of everybody else. So that's why home practice can feel a little bit safe at home right now during the pandemic. So reverse the triangle. Left hand comes down to the floor or to the block. Right arm lifts its way up, and find your reverse triangle. If it's too much twist, you can always bring your hand to the right hip, or to your lower back, and always mediate, adjust your back heel. right, so unwind that. As you unwind that, allow yourself to walk in the left foot just a little bit. Standing head to knee pose. Inhale, rise, moving your biceps behind your ears. Exhale, forward fold, and lower. Best you can, keep both feet grounded. Chin to your chest, forehead to your knee. Even though it might seem impossible, this is a great one to do. Breath of fire. And let that go. Bend into your right knee. Shimmy the left foot back. Right foot steps back. Regular three-legged chaturanga or downward facing dog. Option for you to set up a fancy arm balance or something, or presence in plank pose, drawing the lower belly up and in, and then begin to pump 60 rounds. Breath of fire. Exhale, 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 back to downward facing dog. All right, left leg steps forward and through, in between your hands. Back heel comes down, and presence in warrior two, and then getting your front leg straight to come in to Trikonasana or triangle. So I really want to shift that hip back, really try to have that right foot come forward, and then coming into your Trikonasana or your triangle pose, right? If you need those props, use them. Exhale, reverse triangle. Right hand comes down to the block body floor. Some of us get to the point, right, where we can have that nice cross at least for a little back crack there. And then left arm rises up. And if you need to, allow yourself to stabilize. Left hand to the left sacrum, outer hip here. Always feel free to adjust the angle of your back foot. Allow yourself to unwind. Couple of things. Back right foot steps in. Arms rise up vertical. Maybe draw your biceps behind your ears. And with everything as straight as possible, allow yourself to come into standing head to knee pose. Drawing the left hip back, right hip forward. Chin to chest, forehead to knee. And if you wish, begin breath of fire. Exhale, let it go, and do your best to rise all the way up to stand. I guess we didn't do that on the other side, but exhale, arms round down, and tuck your right toes, shimmy them back towards the back of the mat. Step your left foot back, exhale, optional chaturanga or downward facing dog. Warrior Chaturanga, moving your way back towards the front of your mat space. Rising or coiling up to stand, and then moving on to your balance again. So this time, eagle pose. Inhale, arms rise up and overhead. Exhale, right arm underneath the left and around. And then as you're ready, bend through your knees. Right leg wraps up and over the left. Long, slow, deep breathing. Elbow to knee pulses or your breath of fire. And Eagle Arm Warrior 3. So pause here, or you start to draw this. It's the only side I can do it on. Into Eagle Arm, standing split. And belly is close to thigh. Keep rising your right leg with consciousness of bend into your left knee. Land that right foot. Pivot the chest towards the right corner of the mat. Exhale. Eagle arms down towards your mat space. And then stay low as you unwrap the arms. Turn the left toes in. Exhale, exhale, forward bend. And then hands to your hips. In case you want to go deeper, interlace your hands behind your back. And then forward fold. And then keep releasing hands towards the side of the mat. Exhale, hands down. Option for Skandasana, so right toes turn out towards the back of the mat. And if you want, you can just keep lunging from side to side. If you want to go further, you can sit to the floor. And even bind the right arm in front of the right shin and that left arm back behind you. Maybe I'll be able to actually demonstrate that on the other side. So take a deep breath out. Right toes turn in, left toes turn towards the front of the mat. Step back with your left foot. Optional chaturanga or your downward facing dog. Walk, step, float, hop up towards the front of your mat. If you decide to float or hop, make sure you land light. Inhale, rise. Exhale, hands through to your heart center. All right, so I'll cue this one. Inhale, arms rise up and overhead. Exhale, sweep the left arm underneath the right and around. Bend through your knees, and then it's the left leg that lifts up and over the right. Hold your eagle pose with elbow to thigh, knee pulses. Long, slow, deep breathing or your breath of fire. All right, take off, unwind that left leg into your warrior 3 with your eagle arms. I have to let those go. Hold in warrior 3, unless you can start to experiment, lifting a little bit more high with the left leg, and then getting the belly closer to the thigh. If not, you're just holding warrior 3 pose. As you're ready, consciously, softly bend into your right knee. And then once you're ready, taking your eagle arms down to the floor in your humble warrior. And right toes turn in, and making sure you come to your wide-legged forward fold. And you can either stay or lift your way back up. Interlace your fingers, and then exhale back into your forward folds. All right, lunge from side to side, or turn your left toes out into your Skandasana. And then right toes turn up. As you're ready, land softly on your glutes. So I need to turn these left toes in parallel to the back of the mat space. If you would like to, left arm comes forward of the shin, right arm comes back and around, and then find your twist, looking up and beyond your right shoulder, also your bind. All right, coming back towards the front of the mat, bend in to your right knee. And if you need to, tuck your left toe, step back, regular, three-legged chaturanga or downward facing dog. And some of us can actually float, bend the knees, and then float through all the way to Dandasana or staff pose, shooting the legs out in front of us. But thinking about, as you're ready, bend the right knee, bend the left knee, roll over your ankles, and then find comfortable seat. So if we already went into the base once, Gomukhasana, cow face, and if it was too strong, we totally understand. For me, it's too strong on one side, but not the other. You may want to have your towel, your strap, your sweatshirt, but we're going to try to bring the left knee straight out of the hip, and the right knee over, right? And keep tucking your heels closer towards your hips. You're sitting up straight, and you can more than welcome stay here. Not a big deal at all. If you're ready to go deeper, then you'll take the left hand behind the back body, fingertips facing up, and then the right arm up and over. If you don't reach, grab that towel, grab that strap, and it's important to stay here and not here. I can look at myself right now. I don't know if you can. Hopefully you have a mirror in your home studio, which I'm really happy some of you have. But keep lifting up through your heart space. What is okay is coiling in, where you find that rounding, but then you push back through the chest and open the throat. So from here, either find your space, find your place, presence, and then allow yourself, if you wish, breath of fire. Exhale, let it go. You can do a counter hug, right? That'll feel really, 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 really good. And then I'm not able to switch my legs, but for you now, switch right leg on the bottom and your left leg on top. So from here, once you're ready for the cow face arms, you can manipulate your hand a little bit if you need to. Right fingertips face up towards the base of the neck, and then left hand comes and tries to grab those right fingers, or you can use your towel, you can use your strap, you can use clothing. So once again, oftentimes in this we want to bear down. Think about, no, I'm lifting the heart space, opening the throat, tucking the chin towards the base of the skull so I'm not holding my head forward. The head always wants to win over the heart space, right? Allow the heart to keep shining. Making decisions at least half and half with your head and your heart. Not always 100% head, and then not always 100% heart. Hanumanasana, even though we didn't get into splits, is that deep connection where the head and the heart are equal, and in between the head and the heart is the throat space, and hopefully over time we become better and better communicators with our words. The Shuddhi, the throat space, that chakra, is called the seat of the cold experience because oftentimes our words can be a little bit cruel. Always thinking about designing better and better communication. Lift up one more time with your heart space, and then release, 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 cow face pose. So once again, if you'd like, you can do a couple of these, or you can just do a counter hug. And then release your arms, release your legs. And if you want to design a tougher boat pose, go right ahead. But if not, starting to wind down. Inhale, exhale, 1. Inhale, lift, exhale, 2. Inhale, lift, 3, exhale. Inhale, lift, exhale, lower. Lower all the way to your mat space. Making sure you're starting to let the breath go a little bit more long, a little bit more even, a little bit more deep. And feel free to move into plow pose. Maybe even feel free to move into any lotus pose that you wish. But if not, we're coming into happy baby pose. Maybe gentle rock from side to side. And then making sure you're aligning the spine, all 26 vertebrae down to the mat space. I'm still filming.
Sorry.
And then releasing your happy baby pose, and then lengthening your left leg out and bending your right knee in towards the right shoulder. So just allowing yourself to really ground through the left side of the body, especially the left shoulder and the left hip space. Hold here and breathe. And after your next exhale, and taking this to twist, so right knee over to your left side. And as best you can, try to keep that right shoulder grounded. You can either keep the gaze, eyes open or closed, up above you, or gently start to move the gaze over that right shoulder. And after an exhale, unwind that side. Bending both knees, lifting your hips up, rearranging the spine, and then right leg goes out straight, bending your left knee in towards your left shoulder, grounding your right side here. Always a good place to roll your ankles. Making sure your cervical spine is straight and activate long, slow, deep breathing. After your next exhale, take the left knee towards the right side, and then really try to keep your left side grounded. You can either keep your gaze upwards, or once again, let the head fall towards the left side, and then just find your long, slow, deep breath. After your next exhale, coming back to center. Once again, bending your knees, lifting the hips up just to rearrange the spine on your mat space. And if there's any last poses that you'd like to do, go ahead and do them now. If not, lengthen one leg after the other towards your Shavasana. Maybe tick-tock the toes from side to side, uplift the heart space, drawing the shoulders down the back. Arms are straight, a little away from the body. Chin is tucked so your cervical spine is straight. And then closing the eyes, just letting them drop into the space behind them. Letting go of all tensions through the face, through the body, and through the mind. and home. Feel free to stay here longer if you wish. If you're ready to move out of Shavasana, begin by activating your breath. Beginning to move through your fingers, through your wrists, through your toes, and through your ankles. As you start to make small movements of the body, on your inhale next, arms draw up and overhead, legs might come together, toes point, full body stretch, all the way from your hands to your feet. Once you're ready, drawing your knees in towards your chest, holding them close as you wrap the arms around the shins, giving yourself one more big bear hug. And it's always up to you. You can either roll to the side and then up, or for the last time, rocking forward and back on your spine, up towards your final easy pose. Comfortable seat, remembering what is simple is not always easy. So finding this place of our comfortable seat, thank you for practicing with me today and remembering our collective intention, yoga, chitta, vritti, nirodha. The purpose of yoga is to calm the waves of the mind. On your inhale, final 2 breaths together, arms rise up and overhead. As you exhale, drawing your thumbs to heart space. Inhale, final breath inwards, and then exhale, bowing forward and down. Namaste.